Welcome back to the Scenario Radio Show. It's that time where we take our panel to the crossroads and ask them the questions. They can only make one choice. Y'all know how we do it. The choice is yours. Once again, we are coming with all the picks from the things you need to know about New Jack City and Boys in the Hood. We got the panel. We're going to ask the questions. They can only pick one. This is how we judge people on the show. This is how we find out who you really are when you have to make these tough picks about the culture. All right, so we're going to start things off with a better rapper turned actor debut. From Ice Cube or Ice T. I'm gonna start with you, Amahl. What is it? Ice Cube, Ice T.
That's easy. To me, it's Ice Cube. It's hands down.
Ice Cube. Why say that?
Well, I mean, to me, you got to look at the total career. While Ice T has been successful on TV, I mean, his character Finn Tutuola is not that great to me, but he's been on the show for 20 years. But Ice Cube turned that role into a movie production studio that has made some great films.
Okay.
And he's still going.
All right, I can't hate on that. It goes straight to you now. Tawnya, what about you?
Ooh, tough one. I would have to go with Ice Cube because, and not even based, I don't know. I guess if you base it on his career totally.
His trajectory. You think about his performance, though?
Yeah, see, that's why I'm like, because he seems to kind of play the same level of character in every movie that he's in, whether it's Barbershop or Are We There Yet or Friday or whatever he's in. It seems to be the same level. But then again, Ice-T has played a cop, the same cop. So
the exact same character.
Right. So because of that, I will have to go with Ice Cube.
All right. And lastly, Marcus Jones. What about you, man? What do you think? Ice-T, Ice Cube, who had the better turn?
I'm gonna have to agree with these two here. Ice Cube. Once he got that break in Boys in the Hood, he done several movies, produced movies as well, and heck, he used that to even start a basketball league. So,
right.
Man, it's kind of hands down as Ice Cube.
Okay, well, this is what you call a flip. Yeah, he turned it into a lot more. I can't hate that. Mm-hmm. I can't hate that. All right, next, better soundtrack: Boys in the Hood or New Jack City. I'm gonna start with Marcus on this because Marcus, every time we've talked about a song, when we go off on during the break, Marcus has got a story to tell. He's like, "Oh, I remember that song." It makes me think of, and I know it's a lot of them got to do with women too. So there's something there. But we're gonna jump in with Marcus.
Oh man,
Marcus, what's the deal, man? Boys in the Hood or New Jack City?
I got my pro-black podcast. You gonna put me out like that?
Hey, man, pro-black men love women too, now. Man.
You got that right. I'm gonna have to go with New Jack, man. I'm gonna have to go with New Jack. That Queen Latifah, and you know what I'm saying, that TikTok, you don't stop it out. You know all that. I'm gonna have to go with New Jack City. They had that New Jack City. They had that New Jack swing all through that album, man. And I'm gonna have to say New Jack City soundtrack, hands down.
Okay, all right, Tawnya. Sure. What about you?
Definitely New Jack City, hands down, no question. Because Boys in the Hood had some songs that were standouts that were really good. New Jack City had just about every song. That was playable and made the charts. They were even In the Dust by the 2 Live Crew. I like that one. You know what I'm saying? So
I forgot about that one.
So, you know, from Troop and Queen Latifah that you played and Christopher Williams, All of them.
Don't wake me. Come on, man.
Exactly. There you go. So definitely hands down New Jack City.
Okay, Amahl, what about you, man?
Yeah, I mean, come on. I mean, Marcus said it best. He practically stole what I was going to say. This soundtrack was the introduction to Teddy Riley's New Jack Swing, and Teddy
Mhm.
Riley is in the movie. Guy
Mhm.
is in the movie.
Uh-huh.
The artists who were
Yep.
in this film were kind of running. This is before West Coast got real big. This is before Death Row Records really got big. And so the East Coast was still running music, and that fusion of hip hop and R&B, this is the beginning. And I think this had more of an impact to me than the actual film itself.
Mhm.
Dang.
Huh. That's an interesting take because soundtracks became huge at this time.
That's right.
There
Yep.
were movies that were out that people remember more for the soundtrack than they do for the movie. Like, and this is a
Yep.
debate that I hear a lot. I'll give you an example. We did a show one time talking about. We did a countdown for greatest soundtracks, and
I did that show too.
Yeah, one of the discussions we got into was it was a couple people who were saying that Above the Rim is one of the great movies of the '90s, and I was like, no, it's not. It's not one of the great movies of the '90s. You only remember it that way because the soundtrack was so good. It's like if you actually go back to the movie, it's not a bad movie, but it's not really that good of a movie. It's just a really good soundtrack.
It's a great movie.
Oh, okay. We got to tackle that one day. Then we definitely gonna have to tackle that one day. All right. Which film has aged better to you? And I'll start with you, Tanya. Boys in the Hood or
Ooh.
New Jack City? Which film do you think has now over 30 years has aged better?
You know, because I'm from that era. I recently watched both of them just because I wanted to,
Mm-hmm.
and I still like them both the same. I mean, the things Nino did in the movie then were ridiculous,
Mm-hmm.
and they're still just as ridiculous. So it's not like, oh, that was terrible. It was terrible then. So I can't, oh man, I can't really pick one. But since I have to make a choice,
Oh, you have to make a choice on here.
which
Yes,
one is
you do.
aged better? Fine, I'll just go with Boys in the Hood because they're about
She
the
don't
same
sound
for
happy
me.
about it. She
No,
doesn't
not
sound
at
happy
all.
about
Not
it
at
at
all.
all. All right, Marcus, what about you, man? Which one has aged better to you?
I'm with her, man. That's like picking. That's like having identical twins and say pick one. Oh man, which one has aged better? Oh, I'm gonna have to say I'm gonna have to go. Ooh, damn, I'm gonna have to age better.
Uh
Oh
huh.
shoot.
This is easy for me.
It is
I'm
for me
glad
too.
I'm glad it's easy for y'all then. 'Cause it's hard for me. It's like picking a child. Um, I'm gonna have to say I'm gonna have to say, and this is by slight. This is like by a nose hair.
Uh huh.
Maybe Boys in the Hood, and this is by a nose hair. A nose hair.
It was a tough call for him. A tough call for him indeed. But you made a choice. That's all that matters. You made the choice. Amahl, what about you? You said it's easy for you. So what's
Yeah,
up with
yeah.
that?
It's boys. It's Boys in the Hood. Clearly, I mean,
Ah.
one of the things that really sticks out when you watch New Jack City, especially as I get older, is the fashion and the hairstyles. You know, we don't wear those clothes anymore. We don't wear that jewelry anymore. We don't wear our hairstyles that way anymore. But you go over
Listen,
to
it's
Boys.
making a comeback, man. It's
It's
making a
making a
comeback.
comeback.
You go to Boys in
I'm
the
messing
Hood,
with you.
they still rocking Raiders gear. They still rocking White Sox gear. We're still rocking the t-shirts with the what are those with the Dickies. You're still rocking the shoes. The cars from that movie are classic cars that people still drive to today. You could make that movie again. Just drop it if there was some way of eliminating it from people's memories, and it almost would perfectly work. The only problem that you have is the music's a little dated, but it's not too dated, and the Jerry curls. If you could fix those two things, I don't even know if people would notice the difference.
Uh, okay.
All right. All right, I'm gonna say that Boys in the Hood has. I'm gonna say it aged better as well, but I say it for a different reason because when I watch the acting on New Jack City, Ice-T is barely making it as an actor on that movie, and
Mhm.
Judd Nelson feels completely weird in the whole thing. It's almost as if he's in an entirely different movie, and so a lot of that is a little shaky for me. Whereas to me, all of the acting for the most part in Boys in the Hood, it works. All of it lands and it still
Mhm.
feels good. It's like I don't know if New Jack City, if it was released today, could have survived the internet. So yeah, I think it hasn't
No.
aged quite as well when I think about it. All right, we're gonna get one more. Whose career would you choose to have if it were you, up from the beginning of these movies up to this point? If you had to choose between Cuba Gooding Jr. and Wesley Snipes, given everything that they've had go on from then till now, whose career would you choose? And this time we're going to start with Marcus.
Oh
What
man,
do
it's
you say?
easy. It's easy for me. You know what I mean? I'm gonna say go with Wesley Snipes. Uh, you know, Cuban uh, Cuban Gooden Jr. had better movies that are commercial wise, Hollywood wise.
Mm,
But people don't understand that, especially this big boom of these DC and Marvel comic movies coming out, that Blade was the trial run for all of Marvel movies. It
hmm
was Blade,
Mhm.
and they took a risk with Blade, and the Wesley Snipes playing Blade opened up the doors for Iron Man, Spider Man, Hulk, the Avengers, all of that. He's the reason. A lot of people don't know that, but he's the reason. So if I was going to take a career, I'm gonna go with Wesley Snipes.
Okay. Amal, what about you? Cuba Gooding Jr. or Wesley
I,
Snipes?
it's Wesley Snipes. I mean, his movies are more fun to make. I mean, not Blade is one of my favorite characters from that genre, and Marcus is right. Not only did it kick it off, if Blade wasn't a success, none of it would exist. They took the
Right.
proceeds from selling the rights to Blade and they used that to fund all future projects. So X-Men was successful because of Blade. Marcus is dead to rights on that. But then you got White Men Can't Jump. You've got some of the Sugar Hill that he did. This movie, Major League. I mean, matter of fact, the Coming to America 2 that he just did with Eddie Murphy, he steals the show in that movie. If you haven't
Uh huh.
seen it,
Mhm.
and then if you go watch the movie he did with Eddie Murphy, My Name is Dolomite, he steals the show in that movie.
He
You know,
does. He
Wesley
Yep.
does.
Snipes is a great actor, but his career has been fun. You know, he did the
Yep.
Expendable movies. You know, while Cuba Gooding Jr. went down the award path, you know, he wanted to make movies that get awards. You know, Wesley makes movies that people want to see.
Uh huh.
Mhm.
Okay. All
Yep.
right. Well, that only leaves you, Tanya.
Hands down, it's Wesley Snipes. Just because I'm big into the superhero movies, and
Uh huh.
for what Marcus said, he was Blade. They started with him, so definitely Wesley Snipes. But Maul, you didn't mention Tu Wong Fu. I actually love that movie, and I love Noxeema Jackson. Thank you very much. So I love Wesley Snipes
So if you go to
because
my
he's a great
retrospective on
comedian. He's a
if you
great
go
comedian, actually,
if you
actually
go to
a
my
comedic
retrospective
actor.
on if you go to my retrospective on Snipes, you'll get the Tu Wong Fu. Thanks for the memories, Julie Newmar.
Man, I love that
Oh,
movie.
okay. All right. And you know what? I said that was going to be our last one, but I want to throw in one more that I just thought about. If you could pick one of these movies to be a streaming series, say Netflix was going to decide to turn one of them into a series, which one do you think would make the better series? Boys in the Hood or New Jack City? Uh,
New
Amal?
Jack City,
Oh, New Jack City. Okay, tell us why, Tanya.
Yeah.
because there's a lot of different aspects and a lot of different things going on. Um, it could be, different week to week, or it could be a continuation. Basically, it'd be power.
Mm-hmm.
Ah,
Mm-hmm.
So that's why.
hadn't thought about that. Okay.
Yep.
Uh, what do you think, Marcus?
All the same thing. It'll be New Jack City, hands down. Everybody's. It seems like I told you once before. It's like, and I don't watch these series on Netflix, but it seems like everybody in the black community is infatuated with drugs. You know, you got
Hmm.
Snowfall, you got Power, you got uh the one on for Fox and Taraji Henson. You know what I mean? So going off the today's trends and stuff, it'll be New Jack City hands down.
Hmm.
You, Amal, what do you think?
So I will disagree for the first time, and I'm going to go the other way, only because those shows have been done and done and done again. And one of the things I like about streaming services are you take risks. So I would love to see a creative team take a risk in turning something like Boys in the Hood into a series where you could get into some more of the themes that they were going against. You know, the themes of Boys in the Hood of fatherhood, personal responsibility, black ownership, entrepreneurship. Police is the enemy. 9/11 is a joke when Furious calls the police because someone broke the house and it took him 45 minutes to show up. Brotherhood, like Marcus talked about, you know, the concept of, you know, how to get out of the hood. They look at it from three different perspectives in that film. There's a lot of stuff that they carry in that one movie that if you drew it out over a series, I think would be really good.
You know, now I will appreciate a Boys in the Hood type series for
Hmm.
but in today's time, if going off to this question, it'll be New Jack City. But I would appreciate a Boys in the Hood version
Right.
because
Hmm.
it talks about the no that's that sorry mama giving that toxic energy, you know, and all that stuff.
Hmm.
Hmm.
I think that's interesting because I don't know. I think I would prefer a Boys in the Hood series, but I don't know if it's just a guarantee. I don't know if it's a guarantee that it would be a New Jack City would be the thing that would get picked first. Don't get me wrong. I recognize Power was a big show. I recognize that those shows exist, but we also live in an era where we have more variety in black television than we have ever had since the existence of television. I mean, you can watch a Power or the sequel series that's going on with that, or
Hmm.
you can watch a black Captain America if you want, and it's all there, and you can watch Atlanta, so there's a pretty decent variety to work with there, and I think the I will admit I don't know how well they would tell the story of New Jack City. Not a knock against those other shows as far as Power and Empire, all that's concerned. I think a lot of times those shows lean much more toward drama. What's the most dramatic choice rather than what's the
Mm.
most interesting choice thematically. Whereas I think you get a better opportunity for better thematic choices if you're going with Boys in the Hood. You get the opportunity, as
Hmm.
Amal said, to tell a lot of different stories in a lot of different ways that are
Hmm.
closer to home. That are, I think, closer to home than you do when you go with Power. It's whereas shows like that, not Power, excuse me, New Jack City, shows like that. Often the only question is who lives, who dies, and so
Right.
yeah, that can only take you but so far, I guess, dramatically at least. And we're done with the choice is yours. We all know a lot more about you now, so thank you for that. Thank you for that time.
This is the Scenario Radio Show. Real talk with a playlist.
That's the scenario.